How's it going, everyone? Today we have Sean O'Connor on with us. Sean, a 14-year pro, third round draft pick to the Florida Panthers, a former 3-year WHL Moose Jaw Warrior and BCHL Victoria Salsa, also played for the Victoria Racket Club Kings. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Nice to see you, buddy.
So, Sean, looking back in your childhood days and from your perspective, what are some things that you could pass on to the players, parents, and coaches based on your hockey journey?
I think a big thing is basically if the kid doesn't want it or do the things that he needs to do, it doesn't matter what the parent thinks or wants. I see it a lot down here living in Arizona that parents are spending $50,000 to $70,000 a year on their kid, and their kid just doesn't even want to be at the rink or doesn't want to do the little things. And I've seen it in situations where the parent is so involved with that and spending all this money that it actually pushes the kid away even further. It's kind of like in life. If you want something and you work for it, and you never know what can happen. At the same time, if you don't want to do something, if you don't have that passion to do something, then you're probably not going to have success. And it's just basically let the kid be a kid. I think too many kids don't play multiple sports. I think multiple sports are big. If you play baseball in the off season, just with hand-eye stuff, it's just different. You learn to interact with other kids. Uncoachable kids are probably going to be a tough person to be in the workplace with down the road. That's life. You've been told by someone else. I'm not saying I was the best to be coach, but I've had my interactions with coaches. But same time, you got to take responsibility for it. Move on.
Right. Yeah. Even these days, I think the trend, especially, I guess, out here, a lot of parents, trying to use the sport to get those characters and principles such as work ethic, commitment, dedication, respect, and all that stuff. So I see that a lot, and that's a great positive to, I guess, the coaching part and also some parents understanding, but also too how you see it. Like if the kids aren't fully, buying in, then sometimes they need to find another sport to go with hockey to really drive that work ethic and intensity. Because if they're just it's kind of how you train. How you're training in through life is how you're gonna train also in your sport, and it's gonna relate to later on. So that's kind of one thing that I've been able to see with this stuff. And so when you were younger, can you give maybe some examples of like the commitment, I guess, that it took for you to continue your route up and become a junior player, but also a NHL draft pick?
I think a big part is, like you said, kind of like that drive. And I know, like we were talking about before, is when I used to get up at 5 a.m. when I was, I think, in grade 4, 5, 6, and would get up, not when my parents up, just grab my bag and go get on the bus and go to the rink and pack my lunch and just walk down from the rink to school. And I know that's probably not allowed anymore, but also it's just like that drive. Like how many street hockey games did we play as kids? Like that was all we did every day. And I believe that there's a lot of good that with hand-eye and stuff that come with the video games and stuff, but it's just that the fun and the competitiveness of playing street hockey with your friends and playing games with your friends. Like I used to dress my sister up in gold gear and tie her to the net, and my brother and I would shoot pucks at her until she cried and laughed, and my dad would get mad. But it's just like that's the kind of fun stuff we do, isn't it? Just being a kid, and being a kid is, in sports is difficult. If you try out for a team, you don't make it. Like I've had countless nights where I've cried myself to sleep because all my buddies made this team and I didn't. But at the same time, you kind of can use it as motivation to become better. It's also good because maybe you don't make that top team that you're not going to play on, and you go down. You go to another team for a year, and you get the opportunity to be the best player on the team, get confidence, and just work your butt off and have a lot of fun. It's difficult that every 2 years you're moving up. When I was in Pee Wee and Bantam, I was the only 81 playing on a full team of 80s. And I'd maybe get one shift a game sometimes. We also won the provincials that year. We went to the Quebec tournament. And then the next year I'd be the oldest and I'd play. I don't know if I even left the ice. Like some games we had like 8 or 9 guys. And I think there's one game I actually got to play the full 60 minutes. It was unreal. So yeah, I got more ice that game than I did probably that whole season before. So yeah, it's different. But being a kid in sport should be about fun. It should be about exercise. And that's how you get better, kind of, because you want to do it. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree for sure. And just like you said, that commitment, you yourself took ownership. I see that being a big thing. I know parents, are the ones that pay the money for the kids to go to ice times and camps and all that. But I'm noticing, a small group of kids are actually writing emails to sign up for things, to message myself or other coaches. It takes a big thing is when the player actually reaches out and does things and asks questions. They want to be out there, and that's a huge part to learning and the commitment to be on the ice.
That's awesome to hear. Honestly, I think that's awesome to hear. That's because I don't know if we had email back when I was a kid, but I don't think we even had cell phones. But
great.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, so that's something that's big that I continue to pass on. Also, too, what type of sports did you used to play back in your younger days? We'll say, I guess, elementary, middle school.
So basically, hockey was my life, but I loved everything. I was, day before Christmas when I was 5 years old, I got double bounced on a trampoline and tore everything in my needle. So for a couple of years, I wasn't even allowed to skate. I wasn't allowed to run. The only sport I was allowed to do was swim. Yeah. And that's not that much fun. That's not I wasn't allowed to play lacrosse. I wasn't allowed to do anything with my knee. But it was literally those summer nights at baseball field were so fun. And those, how many hot dogs I probably ate in one summer was probably just obnoxious, but that's the kind of stuff. Played a lot of soccer. Yeah. It was fun because I was the goalie and I didn't have to go to practice. It was amazing. I only played games every Saturday because we had hockey practice the same night as soccer practice once a week, just like Freddie, just some Victoria League. But I literally would just show up at games and not once, but it was so fun. Soccer was just, and it's interesting. Every sport has different kind of characters, right? So for example, hockey guys are different. Played rugby. Rugby was fun. Well, that was a lot of my high school rugby team we were the best in BC for a couple of years, and we had so much fun. And it was also the same group of friends that I grew up playing soccer with. So it was the brotherhood of my teammates that I had in all sports, and they're all very different. So, and it's amazing how you kind of become a person depending on who you spend time with. For example, my daughters go to school and they probably spend more time with the teacher. So if this teacher is not a very great person, or they spend time with bad kids, they're probably not going to be around, doing the things that they do. And it's easy with peer pressure to get sucked into stuff, but it's good to be different and be able to work. And I think that we're in a spot which is really good of just that being positive, and in such a negative world right now that people are trying to be very proud of people and work ethic. And it's okay to, like you said, ask people for help and questions. Cause that's a hard thing for anybody to do in life, is ask for help. It's a mentally tough world. So that's why I'm so pumped to hear that people are doing that. Cause I don't know if I would have done it. And so it's hard. Yeah. It's cool though.
Yeah. So important. And then as you talk about different sports, different personalities, you're learning different things, but also the skills. Like I'm sure you could relate to, hockey probably came a little easier to you than potentially soccer, baseball, or rugby. And when you had to work at those different skills, maybe juggling a soccer ball, maybe it didn't come as easy to you as stick handling a puck.
Yeah, I think it's a lot is how much time you really spend doing something, right? You want to master a craft. I remember when I was 5 or 6, my uncle came over and was my parents, whatever, everyone's off doing something. He's like, I'll give you $10 if you can juggle that soccer ball 20 times. And I probably spent like 5 hours and I got it. And I wasn't going to get that money. Like I wanted to prove him wrong and also get that money like that. You got to find your motivation when it comes to stuff and somewhere
but based on too with your natural talents, I mean, it sounds like hockey was your life too, right? So that's, sometimes whatever, taking a slap shot came a little easier than other things. And it's character wise, it's testing you to see if you want to put in that extra time to go at something that you're not as good at, maybe with like, such as like maybe instruments, maybe, I don't know, guitar or whatever, like takes time, but like, in order to get better at those things that don't come easy, it's a skill.
Yeah. It's a skill alone just to have that drive. Like that's something you can't buy. Like you can't teach that. It's just something that you see people have. Like you see the video or the pictures of Crosby's washing machine in his parents' basement that he shot a million pucks into. You know what I mean? It's like and a lot of times in this world, especially with social media and stuff, you think that some of these guys are just natural talent, but you don't know what people are doing. It's the biggest thing is what are you doing when nobody's looking versus what are you doing when everybody's looking?
Yeah. And you have to, like you said, you have to love it.
Yeah.
And have
it's not fun. It's just, you're not going to have that drive. You're not able to battle. Like